Teachers, can you guys help me later, like right after our session right here? We have some snacks to distribute. Each one for each student. Yeah.
Where is it right now?
I'm not too sure if it's. If let me ask Miss Lucero. It should be in here, somewhere at the back, outside. Are you ready, Mr. Dean? How many more minutes?
Let me check. Okay, stream's running. I just need to make sure they're taking it off in the gym.
Okay.
Make sure. Here. Watch the cables, please. Better. Okay, so here are what we're give it away. Microphone's behind you. It's way straight to the stage on the yeah, so like when Dr. Lucille says stuff, when people say stuff on the loudspeaker, it's just like it's if you need to increase the decibel level. Or reduce. Huh? Yes, mixer mics. Mixer mics is. Wait. Mixer mics is this microphone. Did you see that? Yes, that's me speaking right into it. So make sure it's mic.
Por allá, por allá. Maybe sir.
Again, if you listen to it, you can kind of gauge what friends want. Oh, I. Good job.
All right. Good afternoon, young gentlemen. Good afternoon. All right, can I have your undivided attention at this time? If you have your cell phones, headphones, your laptop, put them away. Put your cell phone in silent mode. If you're wearing headphones, earphones, put them down at this time. So I'm giving you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2,
Yeah, that's good.
and 1. Again, the expectation was very clear. Phones, headphones, hoodies, put it down. Laptop, cell phones, put it in your pocket. Eyes in here. Good afternoon once again, scholars. My name is Dr. Vilosilo. I am one of the 12th grade administrators. And welcome to our Young Men's Leadership Summit. This afternoon is very important. It's because we will be hearing 3 important speakers in-house, meaning they are from our school, to share with their experiences, their life lessons, and how they have achieved where they are today. So I need your undivided attention, and there will be answer and question right after they will present their life story and share their story. But before we begin, I'd like to ask our beloved principal to give few words. Please welcome Dr. Miguel Chacon, our school principal. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Villasila. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, so we accommodate today's schedule because we want to talk to you about some experiences and some points that they are probably different from the females or in girls' perspective. So I hope you take advantage of this opportunity to have a conversation about what sometimes boys go through that is different from what girls go through. So that's why we separate the two groups. They're going to go through some sections that they are very relevant to them. And here we are to talk about some point that is also important to all of us. So I want you to listen carefully. And we're gonna, at one point, we're gonna open the floor if you have any questions. The idea is to have a learning experience different from being in a classroom. We want to hear what you got to say, but also we want to show you that when you do things the right way, when you follow protocols, follow directions, there is always hope. As I always say in my meetings with the parents, we need to be ready, we need to be prepared when the opportunity comes. You might be thinking, why I need high school diploma? Why I need to go to college? Why I need to go to trade school? Because you never know when the opportunity comes. And if you're ready, you can take advantage of it. If you're not ready, you are going to miss a lot of opportunities. Even though they come right at your door, you're not going to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. So things like that is what we want to, I want you to listen and see how people around you are going through some obstacles, and sometimes are more difficult than the ones you go through. You think you have a difficult life? Just look around. People are going through some issues in their lives, and we never even realize that. So let's have a moment. I see these people talking. Sir, you want to talk? You want to talk? Come here. I'll give you a minute. Because I don't want to disrespect you. I didn't come to High Point to get disrespected or disrespect anyone. So could you please pay attention for a minute? If you want to talk, I'll give you the mic for a minute. Say it again? Okay, so just be quiet for a minute. I'll be done. And then when we have the time to ask questions, you might probably ask a question, okay? Respect. It's a two-way road, okay? So as I said, let's take advantage of this time. Be respectful again. That's the main thing. Let's respect to everyone. Some people ask for respect, but keep in mind, it's a two-way road. You show respect, you give respect, and you get respect back. All right? All right, so I want to congratulate everyone because even though it's new, this is a new activity, everybody respond in a positive way. You move quickly through the hallways, we got here on time, and we're ready to roll. So congratulations. That gave me the first or the opportunity to not only congratulate you, but to think about these kids are ready for even more opportunities to engage with activities outside the classroom. So let's think about that. All right, thank you, Dr. Villasila, for the opportunity.
All right, once again, thank you, Dr. Chacon, for this great opportunity. For our young gentlemen, let's give Dr. Chacon a round of applause. All right, thank you. So Dr. Chacon just laid out the expectations today. So if we have our three speakers here, I need your undivided attention. No sidebar conversations, meaning talking about with your friends. Again, phones, cell phones, headphones, earphones, laptops, please put them away. So, without further ado, let's start with our activity this afternoon. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce our speakers this afternoon. They are our colleagues, they are our mentors, and our teachers as well here at High Point High School. So, speakers, what we need, this is our flow. So, for about 3 minutes, each of you will have 3 minutes to introduce yourself and your little background about you. So we will know about, the students will know more about you. And then after that, we will go ahead with the questions. There were 2 mics you can share with the mic. Well, there are 3 mics right there. So we have our moderator, our senior moderator. Let's give him a hand. And then right after that, the question and answer, then we will have open the floor to everyone if you have some questions. Is that clear? Show me a thumbs up if you understood. All right, so our first speaker, he was once a colleague in the AVID department, and now we are working together here at High Point High School. Please welcome Mr. Omari Pearson. Our second speaker is also very dynamic and very active. He is the Science and the CTE Coordinator. Please welcome Dr. Babu George. Our third speaker, he is one of the top English teachers here at High Point High School. Please welcome Mr. Morales. All right, I want to give the floor to Mr. Pearson. Our speakers will tell them about a little background about them, and then we will each of them, and then we'll proceed with a question.
Awesome, thank you, Dr. V. It's kind of funny when they asked us to do this, but I said I had no problem. I love giving back. That's what I do. I'm born and raised in Chicago. I'm a West Side of Chicago kid. I hated school. I'm gonna be 100% with you. I'm not gonna sit here and fake and pretend like I was this guy that loved school. My family's pretty interesting. And I'll let you read between the lines of what I mean by interesting, but I come from a very, very large family, roughly 15 to 20 first cousins, all over Chicago. My uncle spent a lot of time incarcerated, lost my mom when I was 6, didn't meet my dad till I was 21. And so for me, growing up, my grandfather was my role model. He was a military man, he was an Army veteran. I wanted to join the military. As fate would have it, I was forced to go to military school because of some decisions I made where either I had to go to juvenile detention or I had to go to military school. Military school changed my life. Now, God had a sense of humor in that same part because I grew a foot in a year. And growing a foot in a year, I was very fortunate to end up playing for the #1 high school team, basketball team in the country. We ended up having 8 Division I kids on that team. I ended up being top 50 players in the country out of 550,000 high school basketball kids. Went to UNLV, over Michigan, St. John, Seton Hall, kind of go down the list of schools. 3rd team basketball All-American in college, played professionally with the Philadelphia 76ers and then played overseas. And had a really good life, man. My biggest piece was transitioning from sports because sport became my way out of my environment. And so as we talk today, I really want you to think about whether you're 6'9" like me, or whether you are great at talking, or if you got hands, or if you are great at drawing, or great at writing, or great at math. Whatever God has given you as your tool, it's your responsibility to develop, cultivate, shine it, and leverage it. Because we all got unique skills. Everybody in this room.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon. I hope you're all awake. Okay. All right, so my name is Babu George, and I am not from Chicago, but I am from India. Okay, so, and grew up in a farmland. So, what I was managing when you are in high school, and after once you finish with the day, when I go home, nobody asked me. I mean, do you have homework to do? But that was on me because I was a student. I was supposed to do your homework, right? So I was supposed to do that. But then I had to take care of the farmland, the farm animals, the plantations. So I grew up in a farmland, and I did my studies just like you. And back in India, where I studied till grade 10, I was not in an English medium school. So just like you, most of you are speaking Spanish. I was speaking an English language. I mean, I was not speaking English language, but I was speaking an Indian language. So the first time I started learning English in my +1 year. That means just like most of you, the 11th grade. So I was a kid like you in 11th grade, just sitting and then looking at my professors or the teachers because they're all teaching in English, which I was not knowing. So till grade 10, I learned in a language from India, okay, an Indian language, not in English. English I learned just like as a subject that you're learning, okay. So, but then I challenged myself and I pick up the language, and then I'm here. And then what brought me here to this country? See, I came to this country in 2000 to teach. I have nobody here to bring me here, and I didn't. So, what I'm trying to say is, your education can take you to great heights, and your education can take you to great heights and any place in this world, and your education can earn a decent living. Okay? People say teachers don't make lots of money. I am telling you wrong. I make lots of money as a teacher, so you can always try to be a teacher if you want. So teachers make money. If they say they are lying, okay? If somebody tell you that teachers won't make up money, they are lying because I am the only bread earning for my home, and I have 4 kids, 1 wife, and my mother-in-law. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, your education can take you to great heights. No one can stop you if you have education. Education is power. Okay, education is power. So what I said, my education brought me here, and I love High Point. I taught 1 year in New York, 1 year in Atlanta, 2 years in Baltimore County, and 22 long years at High Point High School. And I say that this is the best high school ever I have been to. Are you all proud of you? If you feel that High Point is the best school, can I have a big round of applause? Yeah, of course. And as I said, no, I am not bragging, okay? I am not making this up. Being a department chair of science and a CTA coordinator, I get to go and then see many, many high schools in this county. And I'm telling you, this is the best high school, the best students. That's what I'm telling you. So students make up the school. So this is the best high school in Prince George's County. I can vouch for that, okay? And I can guarantee you that you are in the best place, okay? And we have the students are respectful, our students are polite, and then do their job. So I think I took more than 3 minutes. Thank you, everyone.
All right, let's give a round of applause for Dr. George.
Peace, gentlemen. I hope everybody's doing well out there. My name is Anthony Morales. I'm from the Bronx, New York. You can tell by my voice immediately that I'm not from these parts. I'm hearing these gentlemen's stories. It's an honor and a pleasure to be at the stage. When I think about my life story, again, it all goes back to Bronx, New York, class of Point Gardens, the Bronx First Public Housing Project, in my mind's National Historic District. I'm a public school kid, really through it from kindergarten all the way through 8th grade, and education was really my way out. I'm very, very thankful for my mother, for my father. My mother, a kindergarten teacher, my father, a mailman. and they always instilled in me the value of hard work, and also really didn't have a choice. Like many of y'all brothers over here, y'all got cell phones, you over here got your headphones in. We come from a time when there really wasn't any of these privileges that you guys have, the world at your fingertips right now. So for me, education was really my outlet. I was blessed to be able to go to a pretty amazing boarding school. And from the time that I was 14 years old, I was pretty much on my own, trying to be out in a world that definitely didn't have many Puerto Ricans, didn't have many people from the Bronx. And for me, it forced me to learn my history and to learn my culture. While at this high school, I discovered the power of literature for my people. It was the first time that I ever read a book by a Puerto Rican author, a book that took place in the Bronx, Spider Time by Abraham Rodriguez Jr. And that brought me down a long journey to be able to discover all my writers. And it sounds crazy at that age, around the same age many of you gentlemen are, my people can write. My people have a story. We have a history that they are not teaching in school. And from that moment, it became my obligation to teach myself what this history ended up being. So went away to boarding school in Massachusetts, ended up going back to college in New York City by choice. And one of the greatest accomplishments of my life was to be able to touch the stage at the Puerto Rican Poets Cafe, which is a world famous place for poetry and sharing of ideas. And many of my poetic heroes and sheroes, I was able to be able to break bread with them and to be able to gain knowledge and wisdom from them. And what that taught me was to be able to go back into my community and be able to share whatever gift of voice and knowledge. And for me right now, I teach creative writing at the school. I also teach Latino literature, and it's an incredible honor and privilege to be able to really hold the mirror back up to the beauty of ourselves and the beauty of our communities, our cultures, our histories, our families, but then our identities, and being able to discover that through the power of our voices. So I'm just glad to be here with you gentlemen today. I'm looking forward to being able to answer some of these questions.
All right, let's give a resounding applause to our speakers today. All right, I want to hand over now to our moderator. Moderator, please take it away.
Yes, sir. So the first question that I have, I would like all people in the cast to answer this question. My first question is, many young men feel pressure to grow up fast. What moment in your life made you realize that you had to start thinking like a man, not just like a kid?
Could you repeat the question and put your mic a little bit closer so we can hear you from the back?
The question is, many young men feel pressure to grow up fast. What moment in your life made you realize you had to start thinking like a man and not just like a kid?
I'll hop out there, man. I come from a household where my biological father wasn't present. And so I had a lot of people on the street. To put context, my uncle was heavily involved in gang activity. My aunt was heavily involved in gang activity growing up. Everybody in my neighborhood was a certain gang set. And so we had certain sets that surrounded certain communities. And my aha moment that hit me pretty hard was when one of my best friends, a week before he was supposed to fly to Vegas, ended up getting shot in the spine. Now, to put that in context, before he was paralyzed and getting shot in the spine, his son, his first child, was just born, right? You know, the blessing of being a father is one of the most beautiful things I think on this earth. And to see someone in which I looked up to, because in my community, amongst my group of friends, the person who got shot was the one who we thought was the coolest, right? So in high school, all the girls, everything was after him. He was that guy, right? But what that also did was that made him a mark. That made him a target, right? And watching that occur, I was kind of faced with a situation where I had to decide whether I was going to go after my dreams or whether I was going to try to be in the streets and hang out with my friends. And it's a real thing. Like some of y'all in this part, y'all have grown up with certain people since kindergarten, since 5th grade, whatever it is, and you see them going this way, but your dreams want to go this way. And you're in the middle right now being pulled back and forth. And so for me, that was my aha moment. Like either you end up like him, and by the way, he ended up getting shot in the spine, paralyzed for a year, and then died of pneumonia a year later, right? And so you can go that route, or you can go this route. And me personally, I wanted to make my grandmother cry. Like that was always my goal. And I'm not talking about the bad tears. Like I'm talking about I wanted my grandmother crying because I made her proud. I want her crying because I made her realize and have a pride in how I carried myself, how I operated, because I went to college, because I did this. My main goal was, and I never will forget this, I bought my grandmother her first home that she ever owned. Up until that home, she lived in apartments all her life. And that was normal to us, right? Like we had a 3-bedroom apartment. All my family constantly was coming in and out, uncles, aunts, cousins. When they got kicked out of their house, they moved in with us for a little bit, stayed for a little bit, and they moved on. But to see my grandmother cry because I was able to provide her a house, that to me was worth all the sacrifice that I had to go through.
I think this question is made for me because as a young man, I really felt pressure to take care of my family, okay, just like some of you are doing right now. I just finished my 10th grade, and back in India those days, high school ends at 10th grade, and then you move to college for your +1 and +2 years. So we call it as +1 and +2 years. I just started my +1 years, and my dad met with an accident, and then he has been admitted into the critical care unit. We had, as I said, we had lots of plantations to take care of, we had lots of farmland to take care of, because I'm a farm boy. So, many people advise me to stop my education, because in no way, because my dad was the sole breadwinner, he was the one who was taking care of all of us. My elder brother was away from home, he was in college, so he was away from home, and then I have 2 siblings who are younger to me, and my mom, she's a housemaker. So, when my dad met with an accident and I just finished 10th grade, just started my +1 or 11th grade studies, so what I did, since I know that the people were depending on me, so that was the moment I felt that, I have to grow up, okay? So I realized that, I have to work like a man, not like a kid. So the first thing what I did, I changed my studies to an afternoon college. Okay, since I could not go during morning time, just like we have some evening high school, so I transferred myself to a after school college, and in the morning I work with the people because there are so many people working in the plantation, so I had to take care of them. So I did all, you don't believe. Can you imagine what time I was getting up those days? I was getting up around the early morning, around 3 o'clock, to go to the plantations. So I was getting around 3 o'clock in the morning, go to the plantations, and then start tapping the rubber trees with the lights in my hand and managing the people. And then by noon, finish all the work. And then I used to go to college. And that's the way I worked 2 years of my time. And you know that. So, as I said, whenever you feel pressure, you may have to grow fast, and then you may have to take responsibility. When you think that, when people are depending on you, rather than you think about yourself, okay? So, what do I want? Okay, that time also, I asked myself, what do I want? But that I shifted from what is the right thing to do, because people were depending on me. So, you all grow up based on your situation, but always do the right thing. Instead of thinking about yourself, think about the people those who are depending on you. And the best thing that you can get is your education. See, if I listen to people, those who ask me to, discontinue my education and stop my education in grade 10, I would not have been sitting here in front of you as Dr. George. Thank you.
Really heavy question about that aha light bulb moment that I think that for you've already experienced it or you're about to experience that critical switch where it's boy to men. And I think, hey, let's just keep it a buck. It's an everyday process. it's an everyday process, and to see many of you gentlemen in this room at the beginning of that journey, this is why we're having these conversations where we as older men are over here trying to talk to young boys over here, so that then maybe you can avoid some of the pitfalls, right? But like, look, I know for me, just given my context in my area that I grew up in, it wasn't easy, right? Like, I mean, when I think about, like, again, and to hear y'all stories, I'm here in much of a listening capacity as well. You know, really just seeing what happened between my parents. I think that was a critical time in my life, and it happened around 7th grade. And to see literally my parents breaking up in front of my face, and to see that the family that my mother was left with, and that she ended up having to take on both roles as mom and dad, I think that will put a lot of perspective. And what you see, and you honor the sacrifices that you see that your mother's making on your behalf to make your life easier, I think that you can only pay it back in the ways that you have to start growing up, right? And from that time, also taking a look at a lot of my friends who didn't have the opportunity that I had. A lot of them are still stuck in the block, still stuck in the hood in the Bronx. And just transparency, my neighborhood ends up being one of the largest gangs in Hollywood, right? Like, and that's not to put street cred on anything, but I mean, really ends up being like that. A lot of my dear brothers are still in the same spot, be it that they're still up in the block, they're still behind bars, or they're dead, right? So these are critical choices that at a certain point you have to make, that either I'm gonna stop playing around with this life thing, or I'm gonna really get real about trying to grow up, right? And there was there's a classic scripture that, and not to get too deep, but it ends up being the idea. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. But when I became a man, I gave up childish ways. And at a certain point, fellas, I mean, you can still honor that in a child. To learn something. Many of your parents, when they send you off and they send you out your house before the sun is risen, they got their hopes, dreams, and wishes inside each and every one of you. Your mamas is believing in you. You gotta think about where your folks came from, and they have the American dream riding on your back. So that's some pressure, but then that's also a blessing. So now, how do you end up making that happen? So these are those times when that light bulb is gonna start coming on, and it's an honor to be at the beginning of that journey, or at least somewhere at the start of that journey for many of you.
Yes, sir. This next question is from Mr. Pearson. Life can be exhausting, juggling schoolwork, work, family responsibilities. How you keep showing up every day tired or discouraged?
Jeez, that's a loaded one, man. How much time we got? 3 minutes? All right, no, I'm just playing. I'll make it short and sweet, because I was told, man, if you got anything worth saying, it shouldn't take you a long time to say it. Once I had the aha moment that I had a dream, right? And to me, a dream is nothing more than a realistic plan connected to something, right? An aspiration. Because if a realistic plan cannot be connected to what your aspiration is, it's not a dream anymore, it's a fantasy, right? And so for me, what I began recognizing was that if my dream was to provide for my grandmother, my gift at that moment was sports. And luckily for me, I had someone who believed in me. I had a coach that sat down with me and created a plan. And for many of you in this room, I don't think y'all realize how hard you really got to work to be successful. And it's not about, oppression of other people. It's about pride and self, right? My grandfather, when I got to college, told me one thing that I will never forget. And it's going to make y'all laugh because we only got guys in here, so I can say this one. The first thing he told me was, "What's your last name?" And I said, "It's Pearson." And he said, "Don't forget it. I worked my A off to make sure that people respected it. You better not mess it up." That was one. The second thing he told me is, "Don't bring no ugly girls home." That was the second thing. And I laughed, but knowing my grandfather, that's just how he was. But my schedule from my junior year to my senior year of high school, I was in the gym from 5:45 in the morning to 6:30. I took a shower in my school, ate that nasty cafeteria breakfast in class by 7:30 to 12 o'clock. I had to sit in the front of the class. My coach believed if you was an athlete, you had to be a smart athlete. No dumb athletes was allowed to be a part of his organization or his team. 12 o'clock to 12:30, I was in the weight room. We had a guy by the name of Steve Holland, who was a professional bodybuilder, but also the defensive back coach for our football team that had swole. And at that time, I was 6'6", about 180. So he put me through pain. Grandma made me peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, old school. I don't know if y'all family like mine, but that aluminum foil works wonders. Chicken with bread on top of it, whatever you make, that was my lunch. I took that with me. I ate that in the weight room while I was lifting. 12:30 to 12:45, I had time to just chill, crack jokes with my friends. 12:45 class hour. I had to be in class on time because every minute in which I was late to class, my coach made me run a 17. For those that don't know what a 17 is when you get on one side of a basketball court and you run back and forth 17 times in 1 minute. If you don't make it, you repeat it, right? So it gets better though, 12:45 to 2:30. In class, 2:30 bell rings. Like most of you all, y'all can't wait to get up out of here. I didn't have that pleasure. At 2:40, I had to be back in the gym. From 2:40 to 3:30, I was doing the exact same drills in which I was doing at 5:45 in the morning. 3:30, practice started. We had practice every day, Monday through Friday, 3:30 to 5:30. You weren't allowed to miss. No one cared about babysitting. Nobody cared about whether you had transportation. No one cared about whatever your excuse was. My coach said, everybody has an excuse, but everybody want to be blessed. Choose which one you're going to get. 5:30, went home, grabbed something to eat, walked home. Normally, grabbed something to eat, had to come back to optional film study. When a coach tells you something is optional, it's not optional. And we're watching film, we're watching things, and then sometimes we had an open gym. That was my life 6 days a week. So I didn't have balance. So all of you all that think this life is about balance, it's about drip, it's about being cute, that's not how it really works. If you want to be successful at anything on this earth, you got to lose yourself in that place. I tell people oftentimes we forget what passion means. Because when you're passionate about something, that means you have uncontrollable emotion. That means time stops when you're doing something you love. That's a passionate person. When you combine passion with purpose, purpose is the reason for which something exists. Each one of you in here has a purpose. Your job is to figure out what that purpose is so that now you can align your passions with that purpose and you can now outshine everybody else that's trying to get what you want. I'll stop on this piece for you. I got a quote in my basement in my house that says, I hustle while others sleep so I can have the life they only dreamed of. I'm gonna say that again because I want y'all to catch that. I hustle while others sleep so I can have the life they only dreamed of. A lot of you in this room got a lot of potential, but you do more talking than you do action. You tell me you want to go to college, but you don't go to class. You tell me you want to make your mom proud, but you ditch in class and you want to McDonald's. And you can't sacrifice just a meal and understand that this is your job. So how bad do you really want to be successful? Because what I can tell you for a fact, I grew up starving. I grew up hungry. And I would have did everything I had to take what you think you had. That's a mentality. That goes with you for the rest of your life. If you work while others sleep, you will always outclimb them, especially if it's aligned with your passions.
All right, this next question is for Dr. George. How should young men handle peer pressure when friends are making choices that could damage their future?
Yeah, that's a big one. Peer pressure. And you can go with your friends, with the emotions, or think about what is right. Okay? When you do something wrong, there is no one to say what is wrong because your inner self will tell you, hey man, George, that is wrong. If you hear that inner voice, that means you are doing something wrong. Okay? So peer pressure is always there. It is there, it's a reality. But then always think about what is right for me. Is there anybody else depending on me? Okay? My actions, is it going to affect somebody else? Always think that, okay? So, the moment you have any kind of pressure, you can always tell yourself, is it right or wrong? Okay? We always wanted to go by the motions, by my friends and all kinds of stuff. Okay? So just like Mr. Pearson said, he grew up in such a place where the gang activities were so much. And another panelist, he also grew up in the Bronx. And I know how the Bronx is because I worked in the Bronx in a high school where all the students, those were dismissed, expelled. Okay? So I worked in a high school in the city, in the Bronx, where all the students were expelled from other schools, so they had a school for them. And more than 60-70% of students came from foster homes. So, but I had students, those who wanted to do the right thing. And I taught there and they survived, I'm telling you. So, peer pressure is always there. I had that. But then when you think about, for example, when you come to High Point High School as a freshman, there is a peer pressure for you to go to the carry out. There's a peer pressure for you to go to the McDonald's. There is peer pressure for you to skip your classes. But then when you skip the class, ask yourself, without even you plan to skip that class, your inner self will tell you, hey, I should be in that class. Okay? Then if you hear that voice, that means you don't have to go by that peer pressure. So there's always, world is like that. There's always lots of things around happening to you. But then always ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? If I am saying that, hey, you are a student, I am a student, then I will be doing and I'll be working like a student. So when you have peer pressure, it's okay. Okay? There is peer pressure and it is okay to have peer pressure. Don't feel anything bad about it. But then you make the right choices. Is the choices that I am making is going to make something good for me, for my family, for the people those I'm depending on, for my friends and for my teachers. Thank you.
Next question is from Mr. Morales. How can a young man positively influence his friends or family even if he feels like he has no authority or power?
How can a young man positively influence his friends and his family if he feels like he has no power? I think recognizing that if you got up this morning, you have an opportunity to change your life. And really, what are we doing here, right? I think about we're in the business of trying to get people towards their futures. And every day, there ends up being 1,000 forces that are kind of pulling at you from that. You don't get feedback, bro. Okay. So I think you're just recognizing that, like, yo, when you feel like you don't have power, you actually have the power to at least change your thoughts. And to be able to listen sometimes ends up being your biggest power. There's a reason why you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. And I feel like for many of y'all, you're not using those 2 eyes as well. There's a lot more talking than listening and watching that ends up happening. Even in this very moment, I'm looking at some of my students right now that I see in my classes, y'all over here deep in your phones, yo. You got boogers in your ear. I mean, what you want me to tell you at the point that we trying to build with you, you trying to actually do something else, right? And we're trying to enlighten you about the power that you have and hold the mirror up to you and show you how beautiful you are. You actively rejecting that, right? Anyway. But in the end, all you can offer up is your presence and the power of your presence and being there actually present. And I think that for many young men I see around this building, there's a lot of things that are wearing at your presence. You're looked at as leaders. However, many folks are followers. And you have to ultimately determine which way you're going to be able to head. So do you have the power to go with the crowd that's doing something that maybe you know you shouldn't be doing? Or maybe take the different road, right? That's going to get you to a different place that maybe in the short term might be looked at a little bit differently. But in the long term, you know it's going to get you to the place that you really actually want to go. So ultimately, the power lies within. And as you're able to offer that positive word to somebody else, ultimately, are you a plus or you a minus to somebody's life? And I think that for many, you gotta really look at your crew. Honestly, do you end up having some people that are really there to help you or to hurt you? And look, I'm not trying to break up any friends here, but yo, let's just keep it real. Some people are trying to get dragged down to the bottom. Some people are trying to get lifted beyond that. And ultimately, the choice lies within you. So everybody got something positive to offer. Each one of you have something to give to this community because this community is here for you. This community only wants to see you win. So how will you take a step towards that level?
All right, the next question will be for all three of the speakers, but you only have 1 minute to answer the question. The question is, every man faces setback or difficult moments. What is the challenge you face and what helped you get through it? First, we'll start with Mr. Pearson. I'm gonna get the timer.
I'll be very short and sweet with it, man. I don't believe in challenges. I believe in stepping stones, right? I don't believe in failure. I believe in motivation. You tell me what I can't do, I'm gonna work twice as hard to prove you wrong. I ain't never been the toughest dude on my block, but I also made sure you knew I wasn't easy, right? So it's one of those things, man, like how you wire yourself, how you perceive yourself, how you go about your life is whether you're the optimist or whether you're the pessimist. Whatever you see, whatever you say is what you will see manifest. I believe in success, and I believe that success is a non-negotiable. For me growing up, it was a non-negotiable. I did not want to experience life. I know what it is not to have lights on. I know what it is to not have a father at home. I know what it is to see gangs and lose best friends. I know what it is to do so many of the negatives. I didn't know what it meant to be on the positives. And on this side of it, I laugh, man, not because it's funny, but Mr. Morales said something, and I hope you all are catching it, because we're dealing with human beings. And in this journey on life, we deal with multiple people. People may not remember your name, they might not remember your face, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
1 minute's up. Next, Dr. George. Your minute starts now.
See, there will be challenges in your life, and no life without challenges. But how do you approach it? Okay, so the setbacks. I felt so many challenges in my life. Sometimes I made mistakes, but the best thing always I do is I just think about myself, what mistakes I made, so how I could do better. So that is something called resilience and setbacks. There will be setbacks in your life. Okay, life is not going to be a bed of roses. Okay, there will be problems, but how do you face it? Okay, so staying patient. Number one is you have to be patient. Whenever there's a problem, there are challenges, take a step back and then look at it. We always say, go up to the balcony and then look down. So just like that, I look at the problem and then I find myself, why I failed, what the challenges, how can I overcome. So I am such a, time over. So I always look at the challenges and then I overcome it in such a way. That's all. Thing.
Now, Dr. Morales, your minute starts now.
Man, I fail every day. I'm gonna keep it real and full humility. I think that part of being a man is being willing to admit your failures and the times that you do mess up and the times that you do make mistakes, but how willing are you to correct those mistakes? And it's a daily process of improvement and trying to strive for perfection and elevation. So the most important thing, though, is with every setback is just a setup for further greatness. And how is it that you're able to achieve? How is it that you're able to keep stretching yourself beyond your own expectations and your standards for success? And ultimately, gentlemen, you define this. You define this, and I thought this was going to be a little bit more warm and fuzzy, but I'm saying it real like this because who knows when next time we're going to get an opportunity to really build like this. So there's some really hard conversations that need to be had amongst brothers that are in the spirit of improvement and self-actualization. So I just challenge each and every one of us to try to make and be each other's brother's keeper. So I think we can hold each other down, but lift each other up.
1 minute's up.
So that's a wrap for our speakers. So let's give our 3 speakers a round of applause. And of course, let's give also a round of applause to our moderator, Mr. Keith Reed, one of our 12 graders. Okay, so at this point, so again, thank you. Thank you everyone for being generous with your claps. So this time we want to go ahead with Q&A. If you have a specific question, you can ask, oh, I want to throw this question to Mr. Pearson or Dr. George or Mr. Morales. So at this time, I want to open the floor for Q&A. If you have any questions, just raise your hand. If you want to ask a question, again, raise your hand. I will entertain about 3 questions. So who would like to ask a question first? Anyone? From the floor? All right, yes. 1, ask a question.
One of my questions is that, so...
Who do you want to answer the question?
I can't remember the name. It's the guy who talked about like being... I can't remember his
Mr. Morales? Okay, Mr. Morales, the question is for you.
So would you say that like when you mature, it's you also like to say that the things you did that you're not really proud of? Like would you say maturing also means that you had to accept that what you did in the past that wasn't good was actually not the real brightest moments?
I heard something about acceptance of the past and understanding, like, where you come from and situation. So, part of the work, gentlemen, is accepting your past and forgiving yourself, even after somebody told you, I forgive you. Or you'll never get that apology. So, and having to live with it and keep it pushing. So, what that self-acceptance and that forgiveness that starts from within, that's the real work. I think you gotta ask all the other gentlemen in this room that are not sitting up here on the stage about their journey of self-acceptance and forgiveness, and we could be here for the remainder of the afternoon, because that is hard work, for real.
All right, thank you, Mr. Morales, and thank you, Juan, for asking that question. Can I have 2 more? 2 more. Q&A. All right, here we go. Please tell your name and who you are going to address the question.
My name is Luis, and I'm going to ask this question to all 3. What is your biggest regret in life?
If I say I have no regret, you may think that I'm lying. But, honestly telling, I'm happy with what I have. And if you live in a life of regretness, then you'll be always pulling yourself back. Okay? So, when I say, oh, I regret, I could be like Dr. Vilosilo. If I regret that, then I will not be successful in my life. I always say, I am small, but I am somebody. Right? That's what I keep in my mind. Okay? So, honestly telling, I have no regrets, but then we will listen from the other 2 panels. So, believe in yourself. Okay? So, if there is any regret, then learn why I should regret for that. Okay? But I can tell you one thing. Hey, I regret about something. When I was studying in grade 12th grade. So, in the class, while the teachers are teaching, when my teacher turned to the blackboard for writing something, I made something with a piece of paper and I flew into the classroom. Something like an airplane made out of paper. This paper straight went and landed on the head of my teacher. It is just poking out of his head. He turned around and I asked, who did this? I didn't accept it that time, I didn't say, but once the class is over, I went to the teacher's office and said that, I did it. Then I had to bring my dad to school, and then I have been suspended for 4 days. So I still regret that.
That's a good one.
Mine's short, man. The biggest regret I have is not valuing education initially because I didn't really understand how it could open doors that no man could close.
I think part of this journey of regrets and forgiveness and self-acceptance, I recently came across this idea of just the error in regret. Because in the end, you're questioning the ways and hows everything has broken down only for your good. And if you look back on it like the coulda, woulda, shouldas of your life, y'all be here forever, fellas. You'll be here forever, like going back, and hindsight is 20/20. We can look back on what you could have did, and this is part of the reason why we have these conversations right now, because I know that for all the men in this room, we're heavily invested in the young men in here not repeating the same mistakes that we made, and want to make sure that you're not living your lives with regrets by the time that you graduate and you look back at your 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old selves and being like, man, I should have went to class. Man, I should have listened to that teacher. Man, I should have did all this stuff. I don't know if many of you have met alumni of High Point in the community, or almost alumni of High Point in the community that, I went to High Point, but I ain't graduate. And they'll tell you in a heartbeat, like, I wish I would have graduated. I wish I would have actually went there. So don't, try to live your life so that then you ain't gonna look back on it with regrets. And that you will understand the will that's been put before you.
All right, thank you, Luis, for that question, and thank you for our speakers as well. We can accommodate one more question. Who else would like to ask a question? Quickly. Okay, introduce yourself and who you want to ask the question.
My name is Cameron Walker, and I wanted to ask this. My name is Cameron, and I wanted to ask this one for Mr. Pearson. When you ever felt down about yourself or had second thoughts about your dream, how were you able to bring yourself up and think that this is what I want to do with my life?
Great question, Cameron. I'll be lying if I said I didn't doubt myself many times. And even as an adult, I have moments that I doubt myself still, right? Am I the best father I can be? Am I the best husband I can be? Am I the best teacher I can be? But what I've learned is birds of a feather flock together. The people you surround yourself with are your village. Your village is there to hold you up when your arms get tired. If your village can't hold your arms up when you're tired, you need a new village. And that's how you know you outgrown your friends, you've outgrown your associates. And I think sometimes we like to keep people close to us because it feels familiar, not because it's who we should be around. And so you gotta figure out who can really support me. Because if you're not adding value to my life, you're taking away value from my life. And so when I'm in my lowest moments, my village is strong. Because when they're weak, I'm strong. And we vice versa, we help each other out. If you can't hold me up in my longest moments, you ain't really a part of my village. You ain't a part of my family. And to me, when I say family, friends are the family in which you get to choose. I can't choose my brothers, sisters. That comes by blood. But if I call you my friend, that means you're my family. So be careful on who you call your family.
Well, thank you very much, Cameron. That was really a good question. Thank you, Mr. Pearson. And so I'd like to thank everyone for being so respectful, for being so attentive. And I cannot thank enough our three speakers today. Our speakers today for being with us. And of course, they have dropped few golden nuggets to all of you. And I hope you will use that to your advantage as you become a young individual in the future. So use that experiences and what you have heard and learn that and use that again to your advantage. So again, let's give a round of applause to our three great speakers, Mr. Pearson, Dr. George, and Mr. Morales. And our, again, of course, our moderator, Keith Reed. Thank you, Keith. Let's give Keith a round of applause, please. All right, so, all right, can I have your attention? For at this moment,
I
guess, Mr. Pearson, if I write a book at one point, I'm going to quote you. Your quote is going to be in the front cover. You said, if someone around in your life doesn't add value, take value away. That's what you say? All right, we're going to work on that. That might be the quote in front of my book.
All right, we're waiting for that book, Dr. Chacon. All right, so at this time, listen up. You will be going to your second session, and I know you have chosen your second session. Some of you will stay here in the auditorium. Some of you will go to 107, 100. If I can show you that quickly. All right, so you have room 100, you have the large gymnasium for March Madness, you have room 107 for STEM, football, you have the soccer field, and then the movie right here in the auditorium. As you walk out, there will be snacks for you. Make sure to get a snack. All right, so we will start this row right here. Everybody stand right here. I did not say right here. Stay put. I'm asking this row right here to go first. This row right here. Sir, teachers, can you stop these people right here walking out? Can you stop? They're not supposed to walk out yet. This row, please. So go get your stuff.
Take a seat.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
Again, you will get your snacks outside. And then proceed to your second session. Guys, just for a minute, okay? You will get out from here. Just for a moment. We want to let these kids or your classmates or your friends to go first. Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Once again, if you choose to watch the movie, you can stay right here, but you need to get your snacks first and come back here.
¿Andan pelota?
All right, I did not ask you to go yet. All right, just a few seconds, few minutes. They're almost done. Yes, this group right here, let's go. Mr. Lamont, can you please start the play, please? Thank you very much. Again, if you're watching a movie, please come back right here. Bring your snacks.
Because you could come back in here for the film, but if there's another case to be assigned, okay, click that.
I'm leaving. Apat lang kami doon.
That probably, I don't think they're going to let y'all finish the class. Better than class? Or would you rather be in class right now or rather doing this? So you would rather be in class?
That's the movie, but
I don't think that's because tomorrow was initially scheduled to be off. However, because we have
oh, so that's why people are saying they're not school tomorrow.
So that's why it was supposed to be off tomorrow, but they made it an actual school. Oh, how did it go? Oh, yeah, supposed to be today. Come down here, sit down here, y'all. Well, St. Patrick's Day already passed. That was like 17th, that Tuesday. It was supposed to be just a PD day, professional day.
Oh, yeah, them days.
Listen, I would rather have it as a day off. You don't want to get no snacks, though?
So when we're ending, usually I scroll down to like that, and I just put that and click. See. Pay attention. Good job. Screen is ending.